The third topic we are going to analyze today is a woman in a modern Korean family. In this part of the lecture, we will talk about the film directed by Kim Do-yeon, Kim Ji-yeon, born in 1982. The film became a kind of feminist manifesto in South Korea. Kim Do-yeon was born in 1970. She is an actress and a film director. She participated in the films Oasis 2002, Marathon 2005, Sunday Soul 2006, A Man Who Was Superman 2008, Once Upon a Time 2008, All About My Wife 2012, Return of the Mafia 2012, Last Child 2018. The film Kim Ji-yeon, born in 1982, is based on the novel of the same name by Korean writer Cho Nam-joo, published 3 years earlier. This is the story of an ordinary Korean woman, Kim Ji-yeon, who has become a collective image of Korean married women aged 30, 40, born in the 1980s. The book, like the film, has become a kind of feminist manifesto for modern South Korean women and has caused fierce controversy in society. Kim Ji-yeon is one of the most common Korean names for the entire generation of Korean women. In the film, Kim Ji-yeon travels from childhood to motherhood, recalling the history of her family, during which women had to deal with deep-rooted gender inequality. It began in particular for Kim Ji-yeon with a lack of understanding from her father, his constant emphasis on that sons are much more important for a family than daughters. The film presents the basic model of female types in South Korean society. The generation of mothers of women who were born in the 1980s became the bearer of traditional norms and values. In 1961-1979, under the regime of General Park Chung-hee, the author of the Korean economic miracle, a stratification pyramid was formed, in which 70–75% of the population found themselves in the lower layer. At the same time, South Korea had a reputation for having the longest working week in the world and the highest rate of industrial accidents. And despite the fact that women were ordered to do mainly domestic work, they were actively involved in industrialization processes and worked in factories for the production of electronics, textiles, clothing, and the food industry. Young workers from rural areas were paid low wages and were often sexually harassed. This was exactly the path of life that Kim Ji-yeon's mother had, who additionally took on all her family responsibilities, including caring for and indulging all the whims of her mother-in-law, who lived in her son's family until her death. The young characters are represented by the head of the company, a new type of Korean woman with a strong character, who, as a wife and mother, opens her own business and devotes herself entirely to professional activities. It is worth noting that this type of career woman is openly condemned both by the male characters of the film and book for leaving the child with a grandmother, and in the public space of South Korean society. Kim Ji-yeon herself is a bearer of the most typical traits and aspirations of young Korean women. She was a diligent girl, studied well at school and university, helped her mother with the housework. After graduation, she got a job in a company where at first she performed the duties typical of a young Korean woman. She served coffee for senior employees. Over time, her abilities were recognized by her manager, and she began to perform more complex professional tasks. However, when the question of career growth arose, only her male colleagues were promoted, since they were considered as long-term employees, unlike young women. Caring for a little daughter, Kim Ji-yeon everywhere hears the ridicule of others and their accusations that the young mothers are well settled in life, idle all day and walk with strollers. At some point, she begins to lose herself and enters the images of the other people around her, speaks with the voices of other people. The film is based on a number of real events taking place in South Korea. For example, in the film we see that in the company where Kim Ji-yeon worked, women accidentally learned that a security guard installed hidden cameras in the women's toilet cubicles on one of the floors, and male employees view the footage at work. The director of the company, knowing about what is happening, does not take any measures. Later, viewers see Kim Ji-yeon's fear of going to public toilets. The movie story about the life of Kim Ji-yeon, like the book, caused heated discussions in South Korea. There was a strong backlash among anti-feminists, some of whom even tried to petition the government to suspend the release of the film. Part of the male audience also tried to create a negative response to the film on social networks, where, unlike movie sites, here is no need to preview the film for subsequent discussion. The man saw in the novel that the film an attack on traditional values, considered that the author dramatizes the life of an ordinary Korean woman for no reason and distorts the real picture. And some spoke in the following way. I agree that women aged 40 to 50 sometimes sacrifice something, but I don't think that women in their 20s and 30s are discriminated against. A considerable share of criticism fell on the performers of the main roles, Chan Yu-mi and Kon Yu, her husband. Both actors faced hard-hitting comments even before they started working on their roles. I know there are always differences in opinion, but I choose to star in the film because it contained views that I sympathized with, Kon Yu said after filming. Since 2018, a number of radical feminist demonstrations have been held in the Republic of Korea against misogynistic practices. The most notable of which are the widespread use of spy cameras in women's restrooms and the corset liberation movement. To get rid of the corset movement is made up primarily of women who seek to challenge the conventional beauty standards in South Korean society. Korean women oppose to use of color cosmetics, hair coloring, and beauty treatments, all of which are very popular practices in South Korea and generate huge corporate profits. Such demonstrations were widely supported, and tens of thousands of young Korean women came out to protest their unfair treatment and prejudiced standards. Radical feminists have an ongoing debate with Korean men who are unhappy with reverse sexism due to mandatory military service in the Republic of Korea. Also, young Koreans are pushing for the acquittal of some well-known male Koreans accused of sexual harassment. The previous president of the Republic of Korea, Moon Jae-in, was also drawn into this debate, who said that the problem such as bitterness among women will only be resolved when we can convince them that they especially respect feelings of shame and dignity associated with female sexuality.